Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes. We're here to present you our NFL Week 2 tight end and defensive plays. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This week, I watch all my NFL, MLB, and NBA videos. If you haven't went and checked out our new website at www.dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of different content such as this video, and many more. So check it out, www.dfscheatsheet.com. So we're going to jump right into this video real quick. Before we do, if you don't mind, please take that quick second, click the like button for us down below. Helps us out a lot. We appreciate it. And hey, how you doing out there, Jeremy?
Another day, man. Just trying to get these picks in for our members. Maybe you want to give them a quick rundown how we're going to break these down on a daily basis. We're a little bit late in the week this week, but we're going to knock out videos tonight.
Yeah, so what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to drop a new video every night, starting Tuesday nights. We'll do a defense. Wednesday we'll do tight end. Thursday we'll do running back. Friday we'll do quarterback, and Saturday we'll just kind of do a video answering your guys' questions. That's kind of our plan of what we're gonna do weekly. For you guys, like I said, I mean it's a little bit late in the week, but we're gonna knock out 2 videos for you guys tonight. Get back on track. Had a little bit of technical difficulties last night when we were trying to do our tight end video. So let's just jump into this. First, I'm going to start out with my tight end first. A guy that I'm really liking for cash games, I'm a cash game player, is going to be Jack Doyle for the Colts. The guy, I mean, he didn't have a really good week last week, but he didn't hurt us either. Same price tag, $5,600 on FanDuel, only $4,000 on DraftKings. That's just too cheap, especially on DraftKings. The guy last week, I mean, he had 10 targets, so you got to really like those double-digit targets for sure. 10 targets, 7 catches for 60 yards. I definitely think that's a solid outing. He was on the field for 94% of the snaps, so they really do want him out there a lot. The only thing that kind of scares me a little bit about him is he does have Ebron coming behind, backing him up. Ebron took a couple of snaps away, but it wasn't too bad. I definitely think that Doyle is a really good cash game play. And Andrew Luck, for his first game back in over a year, he didn't look too bad, and I definitely think he's going to get better as the weeks go on. Doyle's going to be my first tight end pick. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with George Kittle from the 49ers. The 49ers have the 4th highest implied total at 26.5 right now. George Kittle at $5,600 I think is a great play for tournaments. Last week he comes out, he gets 9 targets, he catches 5 of them, 90 yards receiving, dropped a touchdown pass, dropped a long pass that was a sure touchdown. He's a red zone monster. If you look back to last year, 9 receptions on 16 targets in the red zone. He only started 7 games last year, but in those 7 games, like I said, he had the 16 red zone targets. His only 2 touchdowns came in the red zone as well last year. I just think it's a guy that they make a trade. That they have McDonald on their roster last year. They trade him away. I think they made moves specifically so they can have George Kittle be a part of their game plan moving forward. I think he's going to be a big piece. The other thing to that, Marquise Goodwin, we don't really know what's going on with his legs. He has the quad bruise, I believe it is. And that's a wide receiver that's got something going on with his legs. He makes his money with his legs. So I just think Garoppolo, George Kittle, huge red zone target, the ability to bust a big play as well as we saw last week versus Minnesota. He just didn't complete the catch.
Yeah, I like that. I definitely like that call. I think Kittle is a really good play. A little bit more GPP, but we want to kind of mix it up, cash game and GPP plays. So that's a good call on Kittle. So I'm going to move on to my next tight end. I like Jared Cook. The guy, I mean, he had a really, really good week 1. Derek Carr looked like he really liked him. He's only 5,000, so I think he's honestly going to be chalk. And, like we always talk about in cash games, if you got a free square, you just take it. He led all tight ends last week with 12 targets on the week. Jordy Nelson, Amari Cooper, they didn't do nothing. They didn't even look in sync at all. Carr kept looking over the middle towards Jared Cook. Then they get a matchup. Going against, and then they get a matchup this week going against Denver, who ranked 31st last year in the league against guarding the tight ends. So I definitely think that, this is a good matchup for him. Not only that, I know that I'm talking about last year's stats for Denver, but week 1, they went against Seattle, and Seattle's tight end went off on them. 3 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. So, I definitely think that they didn't improve too much in guarding the tight ends. And Jared Cook, I think, is going to be the top cash game play on the slate. For me, his upside's a little bit limited. I don't see him having this crazy game, but I think that he will have a solid game, and he'll definitely hit your value for your cash games and give you a solid floor. Who you got next?
One quick thing about him that I didn't really think about until today, and that is you don't have Crabtree there. And Crabtree was a huge red zone target for David Carr last year. He had a couple games with multiple touchdowns, red zone targets. And Cook could be that guy that fills in. He's a big target down there in the red zone. So I definitely like the play of Cook, following up what he did last week. I'm going to go with Kelce at $6,800. I like that game. The game has a 53 over-under the combined total. I think there's a lot of points that could be scored in that game. Kelce gets 1 reception for 6 yards and 1.1 fantasy points last week. I do not think he's going to follow that up with 1 catch. He did get 6 targets that went his way. I just think Kelce's too good. There's a huge implied total in that game as far as the over-under goes. And I think Kelce's pretty much a no-brainer for tournaments because of the fact that recency bias comes into play and people do not like to target people, especially a guy you got to spend up on whose price tag didn't really move. There's other spots to go. There's definitely other spots to go. So I think people fall off him, and I have no problem jumping on Kelce this week.
Yeah, no, I definitely like the Kelce call. Going to be low owned. We've seen it over and over last year, the year before. The guy has upside. Now he has a quarterback who likes to throw deep, has a big arm. Yeah, no. So Kelce, I definitely think he's a really, really good GPP play this week. So we'll move on to defense. I'm gonna start it off with my top defense. Probably for cash games, it's going to be the Rams. We've seen what the Rams did to the Raiders last week, and the Raiders actually have some weapons. Now they're going against Arizona, who pretty much just has David Johnson. That's who they got. David Johnson had a bad week last week. We don't know exactly what was going on with him, but I think teams are definitely going to try to stack the box on Arizona. The Rams are stacked on defense. It is what it is. Arizona's horrible. Rams, I think they're in for a great week. The Arizona Cardinals have the lowest implied total this week on the slate of only 16 points projected to score. So Rams for cash games, I definitely think that the cash games lock at defense. Who you got for defense?
It's so weird going from baseball to football, man, with the implied total because I keep wanting to say implied run total.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. And I'm like, oh, no way.
Yeah. It's so weird. So I'm going to go with Philadelphia. The thing with Philadelphia, $4,400. They're not the top price defense on the board, but this is a Super Bowl winning defense, and last week had a really good week against Matt Ryan. I know the game did come down to the last possession for Philadelphia, but 4 sacks and a pick against that high-powered offense. Look, there's no two ways to look at it besides the fact that Atlanta's a Super Bowl contending team. And they went out and they balled up against them, and they did get to the quarterback 4 times. Matt Ryan's got a quick release; he's not an easy guy to get to. And then they did have the 1 pick. So at $4,400, this is another play that's a lot like Kelce for me. Philadelphia maybe are underwhelming. There's San Diego, there's New Orleans, there's other defenses in good spots. The Rams, there's other defenses in good spots that you could pay up for this week. And I think that Philadelphia's in that spot where people just may go overlooked, and that's why I like them a lot for tournaments.
Okay, yeah, I definitely like that call as well. So, hey, man, you touched on it real quick. My next defense is actually going to be the Chargers. Like you said, they're in a great spot this week. They're going against Buffalo. Buffalo doesn't even know what quarterback they're really going to start. You know what I mean? And the Chargers. The Chargers. They lost last week. Phillip Rivers, I'm sure he lit a fire under some asses, and he's really going to want to get a win this week and pump up his guys. Buffalo, they have the second lowest projected points to be scored on the week. So, I mean, if you're not going to go with the Rams, I definitely think Chargers are a really good cash game play as well. I mean, what other defense are you liking?
So I'm going to go and I'm going to throw – this is going to seem like it's out there. It's a stretch because of who they are and what their record has been and what the franchise has done previously. But I'm going to take the 49ers at $3,700. Last week, we really liked the defense. That was 3,000. Put them in our cash game lineup, and that was Cleveland. Cleveland was 0-16, right? I mean, so my point being, defense is you can look at the Rams, right? The Rams, when they got free agents, they signed guys, they beefed up their defense. Defenses can, they can turn over overnight. So I'm going with the 49ers. Very, very cheap. But here's the thing with the 49ers. They're playing Detroit. We just saw what happened with the Jets, what their defense did against Detroit. The Jets, again, they were a terrible team. They did get Darnold with a high draft pick, right? So I'm taking the 49ers, $3,700. They're all the way down on FanDuel. Nobody's going to be looking at the 49ers. I think people are going to be thinking Matthew Stafford's going to bounce back. But here's the deal. They did get after the quarterback last week. They did force a turnover. They did get 6 points. I mean, that's 2 times value at $3,700, just about, right? So we get 7.4 out of the 49ers in our defensive spot. I think we'd be really happy at tournaments.
Okay, yeah. No, hey, that's a definitely interesting play. I didn't look at the 49ers, but you did hit some valid points. I definitely think it's somebody that I'm going to go back, look a little bit more at, and maybe think about definitely putting them in my player pool for GPP. So that's kind of, I think, what we got for, tight end and defense. I mean, I don't think we left anything out. You got anything else to say about that?
Hit the site, man. Everything's on fire on the site.
Yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. So, hey, man, our optimizer's going off. Week 1 NFL, was very successful with the optimizer, had all the customers playing multiple slates. And, it was great. We extended our NFL luxury box season-long special price until this Sunday at lock. So you still have a chance to get that special. And, hey, that's all we got. So, if you have any more questions, hit us in the comment section below, or you can, send me a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at RotoBeast. And, hey, good luck this week. Peace out.